Feeling lost, like the weight on your shoulders is too much. What if everything you're feeling right now is just temporary? Your pain, your fear, the crushing feeling of a broken heart, they're not permanent residents. They're just visitors. This is not the end. It's just a bend in the road. You're not being broken. You're being built. Let me tell you something that life has taught me. A deep, profound truth that no book, no lecture, and no podcast could ever truly explain until I lived through it. And that truth is this: nothing lasts forever. Not the pain, not the fear, not even the overwhelming joy. Everything, and I mean absolutely everything you are experiencing right now, is temporary. When you're caught in the middle of a storm, it feels like the rain will never stop. You might wonder if the thunder will ever quiet down, or if the lightning, like anxiety inside your chest, will ever let you breathe easy again. But the storm doesn't last, it never does, and that is a truth I need you to not just hear, but to hold on to. Carry it with you always, maybe in your pocket like a small, smooth stone you can touch when life feels too loud, too chaotic, and too overwhelming. The simple, powerful phrase, "this too shall pass," is more than just a saying, it's a lifeline. The mind, our own minds, they love to play tricks on us. They love to convince us that what we feel in this moment, this sadness, this despair, this all-consuming worry, is what we'll feel forever. But emotions are not solid, permanent structures. They are waves in a vast, ever-changing ocean. They rise, they crash with tremendous force, and eventually they recede, rolling back into the deep. You might be sitting alone right now, carrying a heart that feels heavy beyond measure. Maybe life hasn't gone the way you thought it would, and your beautiful, careful plans have unraveled completely. Perhaps someone you trusted implicitly walked away without a word. Or maybe you're simply staring at a version of your life that doesn't feel like your own anymore. And it hurts, of course, it hurts. You are a human being, and you are meant to feel these things deeply. But here is the crucial message I want to imprint on your heart today. Don't stress. Do not, under any circumstances, allow this singular, difficult moment to define your entire forever. Because it is just that, a fleeting moment. It is not the whole epic story of your life. It is simply one page, one chapter, that will eventually turn. I want you to take a moment and really look back. Think about it. You have already survived so much. You have already outgrown so many hard chapters that you were convinced would break you. And yet, here you are. You are still standing, still breathing, still becoming. That pain you felt last year, the one that seemed insurmountable, it was temporary. That heartbreak you thought you'd never, ever heal from, it was temporary. That paralyzing anxiety that gripped you tight at 3:00 a.m. a few months ago, it was temporary. What's permanent is your strength, your profound resilience, and the spirit inside you that keeps showing up, keeps pushing forward, even when it feels completely exhausted and broken. That is the true, unwavering essence of who you are. Now, let's flip that coin, because there's another side to this truth. If stress and pain are temporary, then so is comfort, so is success, so is the golden sunshine of a perfect day. This is precisely why we must be present. It is why we must love a little harder, laugh a little louder, and appreciate the absolute beauty of the now. Stop putting your joy on layaway. Stop telling yourself, "I'll be happy when." Because if you do, you'll completely miss the precious moments that are right in front of you, waiting to be cherished. Don't let the temporary troubles you're facing steal your permanent power. It's okay to cry when you need to. It's okay to feel it all. Healing doesn't mean you have to pretend everything is okay. It simply means trusting deeply and unwaveringly trusting that you will eventually be okay. Even if you have no idea how, and even if the path ahead is still blurry and uncertain, trust the unfolding of your life story. If things feel uncertain and don't make sense right now, I want you to close your eyes and picture yourself standing on the shore, watching the tide go out. That's what's happening in your life. Some things are pulling away, but they are not leaving you empty forever. The tide will return, it always does, and often it brings back beautiful shells you never expected to find, new opportunities, new connections, a beauty you never saw coming. The seasons will change, winter will pass, and when spring finally arrives, you will feel the warmth again. A gentle reminder that nothing stays cold forever. So breathe, just breathe. You don't have to figure it all out today. You don't have to fix everything right now. Sometimes your only job is to keep walking, to keep waking up, to keep showing up, one step at a time, until the heaviness begins to lift and the light returns. Let life unfold in its own time. Remember, just because something feels incredibly hard right now, it doesn't mean it's wrong. Growth almost always comes wrapped in discomfort. Expansion is rarely a quiet, peaceful process. You're not being punished. You are being prepared for something bigger and better. Everything is temporary, even this, especially this. So don't stress. Stand tall and firm in the storm. Smile when you can, cry when you must, but above all, trust this one singular truth. Nothing lasts forever. And your peace is on its way. There is a moment in everyone's life when it feels like the weight on your shoulders is too much to bear. When sadness creeps in quietly and then, without warning, decides to stay for a while. When fear builds like an unshakable wall between who you are and where you desperately want to be. There are nights when your thoughts spin faster than you can possibly catch them. And mornings when even the simple act of getting out of bed feels like climbing a vertical mountain. And in those moments, in that deep stillness where the ache lies, you begin to believe that this is how it's always going to be. But it's not. Everything you're feeling right now is temporary. I know that's incredibly hard to believe when you're in the middle of it. Pain has a cruel and convincing way of making you believe it's permanent. Anxiety whispers malicious lies, telling you you'll never feel calm again. Heartbreak echoes in your chest so loudly that silence feels unbearable. But these emotions, no matter how strong or convincing they feel, are just visitors. They are not your permanent home. They are not your identity. They are simply passing through your experience. Life doesn't come with a pause button. Time doesn't wait for permission. Just as the seasons change without fail, so do the chapters of our lives. No feeling, no matter how intense or overwhelming, lasts forever. Remember the fear that gripped you so tightly last month. It softened. The loneliness that felt like a heavy, suffocating blanket you couldn't shake off. It lifted, even if just for a brief moment. And that proves something powerful. You are already healing more than you realize. You are not broken. You are becoming. We often confuse what we feel with who we are. But you are not your sadness. You are not your anxiety. You are not your anger or your stress. You are the observer of those emotions. You are the sacred space that holds them, not the emotion itself. And if you can learn to step back and simply witness them, even for a second, then you're already reclaiming your power. You see, emotions are just like the weather. Some days are clear and bright with a warm sun. Others are stormy, dark, and utterly unpredictable. But even the longest, darkest night eventually gives way to morning. Even the harshest storm eventually runs out of rain. What you're experiencing now, it's just weather. Let it pass. There is no shame whatsoever in feeling deeply. In fact, that is your greatest strength. The ability to feel deep pain means you also have the immense capacity to feel deep joy. The depth of your struggle today will one day reflect the depth of your strength tomorrow. But don't let the temporary convince you that this is the end. It is not. It is just a bend in the road, a new turn on your journey, not a dead end. Sometimes life slows us down so we can actually listen. Not to punish us, but to realign us, to remind us of what truly matters, and to strip away what's no longer needed in our lives. And yes, the process is incredibly uncomfortable. It often hurts deeply. But just like pruning a plant makes way for new, beautiful growth, your pain is making room for something better, something stronger. You don't need to rush your way through healing. You don't have to pretend everything is okay. You just need to remember this one truth. Your feelings are valid, but they are not permanent. Every single tear you've cried has watered the garden of your soul. Every sleepless night has taught you a new, profound kind of resilience. Every moment you wanted to give up, but didn't, has carved strength deep into your bones, creating a foundation that can withstand anything. Even joy is fleeting, and that's precisely why we must treasure it. Even laughter ends, and that's why we must embrace it with everything we have when it shows up. Life is constantly in motion. Nothing stays the same, and that's a beautiful, liberating thing because it means you're not stuck. You're not trapped, you're simply in a moment that will pass. The next time you find yourself feeling completely overwhelmed, try this simple practice. Pause, close your eyes, breathe deeply, and say to yourself, this is not forever. This is just right now. Let that truth soften your body. Let it lighten your heart, because it is absolutely true. Some days you'll feel strong, others fragile. Some mornings you'll wake up with a fire in your belly, others with a dense fog in your mind. But none of those feelings define you. They simply remind you that you're alive, and being alive means things change, always. You have survived every single emotion you've ever felt. Read that again, every single one, even the ones that felt impossible to get through, even the ones that stole your breath. And if you survived those, you will survive this too. So, when life feels heavy, when the emotions come crashing in like a tidal wave, remember this crucial instruction. Don't build a home in your hurt. Don't make a permanent decision in a temporary moment. Trust the truth that lies beneath all the noise. Everything you're feeling is temporary. It's okay to feel. Just don't ever forget to keep going. Take a moment and breathe. Slow everything down just for now. Not because you have all the answers, but because you've earned the right to pause. You have carried so much, walked through more than most people will ever know or understand. And even if nobody ever claps for you, even if no one says it out loud, you've already survived so much. That is not a small thing. You've lived through nights that swallowed your light and left you in darkness. Moments where the pain was so loud you could hardly hear yourself think. You've had days where your heart was shattered into a million pieces, and still, you showed up. You kept going, you didn't give up, you're not here by accident. Every single scar you carry is a testament to your strength. It's a sign that you chose to heal instead of hide, that you kept showing up even when the world didn't feel safe or welcoming. You fought battles no one saw. You've cried in silence, wiped your own tears, and talked yourself through breakdowns when no one else could hear the shaking in your voice. And maybe you don't talk about it, maybe you minimize it, maybe you say, it wasn't that bad, or I'm fine now. But let's be honest with ourselves. It was hard, and you made it through. Remember the version of yourself that thought you wouldn't survive that breakup, that loss, that job you left, that betrayal. You did, and not only did you survive, but you grew. You gained wisdom, resilience, and a depth you didn't have before. You found out who your real people were. You discovered a strength in yourself that you didn't even know existed. So when life feels uncertain again, when fear tries to creep in and convince you that you're not ready, remind yourself of this simple but powerful truth. I've done hard things before. I can do this too. This moment right here, it might be tough. It might be stretching you, testing you, and asking more from you than you feel like you have to give. But you've stood in this kind of fire before, and you walked out stronger, more refined. You are not fragile. You are forged. There is something inside you. Call it spirit, soul, fire, or faith, that simply refuses to quit. And that something is why you're still standing. That's why you keep rising even after being knocked down. That's why even when your heart breaks, your hope doesn't die. So stop telling yourself that you're not strong enough. You already are. Stop doubting whether you can handle this next chapter. You've already proven you can handle storms much bigger than this. The human heart is extraordinary. It can be broken and still beat with compassion. It can ache and still love. It can be exhausted and still keep going. And your heart, it's been through enough to know that every ending has the potential to become a beautiful, powerful new beginning. You didn't come this far just to shrink. You didn't survive everything you've been through just to play small now. No, you came to rise, you came to shine, you came to speak your truth, own your story, and live with purpose. And yes, healing isn't a straight line. There are still going to be days where the weight feels heavy. Still moments where old memories resurface and catch you completely off guard. That's perfectly okay. That doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're still human, still evolving. It takes immense courage to feel. It takes incredible strength to stay open after all the reasons you had to shut down. It takes faith to keep believing in good things after you've seen the worst. But you've done that. You are doing that. You're not the same person you were back then. You're wiser now, softer in some ways, and infinitely stronger in others. You've learned what truly matters. You've learned to listen to your intuition, to set boundaries, to say no when you need to, and to say yes when it's right for you. And maybe you're not where you thought you'd be. Maybe life looks completely different than the picture you once held in your head. But that doesn't mean you've failed. It means you've adapted. It means you've survived what tried to break you, and you're still becoming something beautiful and unique. So hold your head up high. Speak to yourself with kindness and compassion. You're not weak for feeling tired. You're not behind for needing rest. You've carried so much, and yet here you are, still standing, still growing, still becoming. That's your power, that's your legacy, and it's something no one can ever take from you. You've already survived so much, and you're not done yet. There's something we don't say enough in this world that's obsessed with results, timelines, and appearances. You don't have to have it all together to be healing. You don't have to be smiling every day, checking off boxes, or radiating perfect peace to prove that you're growing. Healing is messy, it's layered, and sometimes it looks like crying at 2 a.m. over something you thought you were done grieving. Sometimes it's saying, "I'm fine," when you're not, and then realizing you're tired of pretending and choosing for the first time to be honest with yourself. There is no rule book, no deadline. You're allowed to take your time. You don't have to rush your way out of pain. You don't have to fake your way into the light. Real healing doesn't ask for perfection. It just asks for presence, for you to show up as you are with your wounds, your confusion, your shaky faith, and your tired heart. You can heal and still have bad days. You can be strong and still break down. You can be grateful for your blessings and still feel overwhelmed. These things don't cancel each other out. They exist side by side in the real, raw, complicated landscape of being human. Too often we believe that healing means getting over it, that we should be better by now, that if we're still hurting, we're doing something wrong. But pain isn't a sign of failure. It's an integral part of the process. It's your body and soul working through what was never meant to be held in silence. So feel your emotions, let them come, let them speak. They're not here to destroy you. They're here to reveal what still needs your love, your forgiveness, your compassion. There is wisdom in your wounds. There is power in the parts of you that still tremble. You are not broken, you are becoming. You're shedding old versions of yourself, old stories, old habits that once kept you safe, but no longer serve you. And yes, that hurts, of course it does. Growth always requires discomfort, but pain is not your permanent address. It's a sacred part of your journey. It's proof that something inside you is shifting, evolving, and reaching toward a new kind of wholeness. You don't have to look polished to be progressing. You don't have to be inspiring to be worthy of love. Some days healing will look like rest. Some days it'll look like rage. Some days it'll look like doing the dishes or finally getting out of bed. That counts, that's enough, that's healing too. Don't compare your process to anyone else's. Don't measure your timeline against the highlight reel of someone else's life. What you're carrying is unique to you. What you've lived through can't be summed up in a quote or tied with a neat bow. Healing doesn't demand that you erase your scars. It invites you to understand them, to make peace with your past, to hold your pain with tenderness instead of judgment. There will be moments where you feel like you've taken 10 steps back. That's okay. Healing often feels like spiraling when it's really just spiraling upward. Each return to the wound is a deeper chance to understand it, to soothe it, and to finally release it. Be gentle with yourself. Speak to yourself like you would a child who's hurting, softly, patiently, kindly. You deserve that. You always have. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to fall apart. You are allowed to not know. Healing isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming real, becoming more you, the you who isn't afraid to feel, to fail, to grow, and to ask for help. Trust the process even when it doesn't make sense. Even when it feels like nothing is happening. Sometimes the biggest transformations happen underground, quiet, slow, and invisible. Like seeds buried deep in the soil, your healing is taking root before it ever blooms. And when it finally does, when you look back and realize how far you've come, not because life got easier, but because you got stronger, you'll understand that the path didn't need to be perfect. It just needed to be honest, and you walked it beautifully. You don't need to fix everything today. You don't need to be flawless. All you need to do is keep showing up, keep breathing, and keep believing that your pain has a purpose, even if you don't see it yet. Because healing doesn't ask you to be perfect. It just asks you to keep going. There's a strange thing that happens when you begin to grow. Life starts to feel uncomfortable, not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're finally doing something right. Growth doesn't come wrapped in comfort. It rarely feels like joy when it's happening. It feels like tension, resistance, and restlessness. It feels like confusion, like you're shedding your very skin. It feels like you're standing in the middle of your life with everything familiar behind you, but you can't go back. That space, that discomfort, is sacred. You see, we're taught that pain means we're broken, or that if we're uncomfortable, something must be wrong. But that's not always true. Some of the most important breakthroughs in your life won't happen when everything is smooth and steady. They will happen when everything inside you is trembling and uncertain, when you're being stretched beyond your limits, questioned by your own thoughts, and forced to sit in the unknown. Because that's where growth lives, in the unknown. Temporary challenges, those messy middle seasons, those quiet battles you fight when no one's watching. They're not punishments. They're preparation. They are shaping you for what you asked for. They are training grounds for a version of you that can handle the vision you prayed about. You said you wanted strength. Life gives you something heavy to carry. You ask for confidence. Life places you in rooms that make you doubt yourself until you realize you belong there. You wished for clarity. Life shakes everything up so what no longer fits can fall away. Growth isn't glamorous. It's gritty. It's showing up when you don't feel ready. It's facing your fears instead of running from them. It's letting go of who you thought you were supposed to be, so you can become who you really are. The discomfort you feel right now is a sign that you're not standing still anymore, that you're moving, that you're shifting, that something deep inside you knows it's time for more. And even if you can't see the destination, even if it feels like chaos, there is order being born in the background. Growth feels like outgrowing people you love, but who no longer see you. Growth feels like being silent in spaces you once dominated. Growth feels like unlearning the beliefs you built your entire identity around. And yes, it's hard. Change is uncomfortable because it's unfamiliar. The human brain craves certainty, but transformation requires us to surrender that craving, to trust the process, to keep walking even when the path is foggy. You may feel like your life is falling apart, when in truth, it's falling together in a way your current self can't yet understand. Growth doesn't happen in the light. It begins in the shadows, in moments of doubt, in seasons of stillness, in times when you feel lost. The caterpillar doesn't grow wings in the sunlight. It dissolves inside a dark cocoon, alone. There's no glamour there. Just silence, just waiting, just trusting, and eventually it emerges transformed. Not because the change was easy, but because the discomfort was necessary. So, don't run from your uncomfortable seasons. Don't numb them, rush them, or shame yourself for feeling them. Sit with them, learn from them, and ask them what they're trying to teach you. Because the truth is, discomfort is a mirror. It reflects the places in us that are being called higher, the pieces of us that can no longer stay the same. It reveals where we've settled, where we've played small, where we've held back out of fear. And when you lean into it, when you stop resisting and start listening, you'll find the most unexpected kind of power. You'll realize that discomfort wasn't here to destroy you. It came to grow you. You don't have to like it. You don't have to enjoy it, but you do have to honor it, because on the other side of this uncomfortable chapter is the version of you that can hold what you've been asking for. The one who's stronger, bolder, wiser. The one who can speak up, set boundaries, walk away from what's not for them, and trust that even in the unknown, they are safe. So, if you're in a season of tension, if your life feels tight, if your soul feels stretched, know this. You're not being broken. You're being built. You're not off track. You're being rerouted, and you're not being punished. You're being prepared. Every challenge is making room. Every setback is recalibrating your course. Every moment of discomfort is sending the same message. You're evolving. So, the next time you find yourself in the middle of discomfort, in that tight space between who you were and who you're becoming, don't curse it. Don't rush it. Don't doubt yourself. Instead, pause and say, this is the part where I grow. This is the part where life stretches me so I can hold more. More truth, more purpose, more power. You are not stuck. You are not failing. You are becoming. And that ache in your spirit, that restlessness in your chest, that whisper that says there's more for me. That's not anxiety. That's your evolution calling. That's your next chapter knocking on the door. So open it, walk through it, and remember this always. Discomfort isn't the end. It's the beginning of everything greater. You are growing. You are rising. And you are exactly where you were meant to be. Keep going. You've got this. If you liked this video, found it helpful, and feel motivated, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, leave a comment and share it with your friends and family.